Hey, good evening, everyone. Steve here. It's Tuesday evening, and I'm going to speak right into the speaker instead of to go through my earbuds, since that didn't produce the greatest quality last time. It's rather foggy right now. We are experiencing a few ups and downs regarding the weather. Sounds like we're going to get our first real snow for the season, so we're a little bit late in coming to that. But first, we're supposed to be near 60 degrees tomorrow. We had a bit of rain today. It didn't quite warm up here as much as we had thought. I thought it was going to get around 55, but I think we only reached 40 maybe. So it's supposed to warm up tomorrow and then drop, and then we're supposed to get 4 to 6 inches of snow. So that might be the first shoveling I will have to do also of the season. I think I did a little sweeping back in December, but just real light dusting. But right now we've got this, we had some colder weather for a couple of days, and so the ground is nice and cold, but the air is warming up, and so we've got a good fog going for the past few hours. Oh, let's see, what else is going on these days that I didn't catch up with you earlier. Just doing some walking right now, trying to see how my foot deals with that, and not the best, but yeah, we'll have to get back out and try to do a little bit of something more than walking, but just trying to pick a day when it's convenient. So I'd love to go out tomorrow when it's warmer, but we'll see. Sometimes breaking away from work is a challenge to actually get out. So sometimes I'm just tired, so I feel like going out and resting in the car instead. I enjoyed listening to Norman yesterday. I was bringing wood into the house, so I was listening to him while I was doing that chore, and then also while I was on last night's walk. So I enjoyed having Norman as my company. Enjoy these couple of weeks off. Good for you, and good for you getting some things done, especially if your wife is happy about it, because that's always a nice bonus. If you can get things done. I'm not the best at that. I've got a lot of unfinished projects or things that need to start, or that we need a specialist in first. So for example, we have an old house, and the old house original part is stone, and then there was a brick addition in the late 1800s, and so there are places where things still settle, and so you develop cracks, and it's cracked plaster. So Margie would like somebody who knows what they're doing with regard to plaster to fix things so we can repaint and repair. So lots of painting jobs that could be done. Something we did interesting the other day. So we enrolled in a financial management. Maybe, I'm not sure what the best word is, but something to help you work on your finances. And one of the things it did was it had you look for things around the house you can sell on eBay. And so, as an example, they had you sell or try selling a phone if you had an extra phone, and well, we did. Of course, they recommended anything by Apple. We found an old LG flip phone. I think it was one that we got at renewal. It was free, so it was nice to have a backup should anything have gone wrong, but we went ahead and sacrificed it for the sake of learning how to sell things on eBay. And we sold it. Mailed it yesterday morning. I thought it was going to arrive today at its destination in New York. But it seems like it left the post office and then it arrived back at the post office. So I'm not sure what was going on there. But anyway, so we had our first successful sale on eBay. I listed some books then. We used to work for a publisher in Indiana that specialized in biblical studies in the ancient Near East. And it is an academic niche, if you will. For example, one of the books was titled, or subtitled, is probably the better thing to describe it, Egyptian Studies in honor of a certain professor. And then, let's see what else we had. Ancient administrative texts in the Iraq Museum. So I listed four of these books. Again, they're very niche books. The interesting thing is I had one more book to list, and then eBay seemed to want me to pay for something, and I wasn't exactly sure what it was. The first 5 listings seemed to be with no cost if you just had them listed pretty bare bones, either with a fixed price or an auction price, and not both. So, I'm not sure what that was, if just the first 5 are free, or only listing 5 items at a time is free. So if anybody knows anything about selling on eBay, maybe you can pass something along for me, increase my knowledge. So we're looking for other things that we can sell around the house. I do have an iPod Touch first generation that has a crack. Might be able to get $10 for that or so. I have an old radio, an old shortwave radio that doesn't work. But you never know. One man's trash is another man's treasure. I have an old crystal 2-meter radio that somebody who knows what to do with it better than I might find handy. So, we've got things that are just taking up space. And it'd be nice if we can get something for them. We've got other books we can unload too. Somebody said it might be easier to do books on Amazon because all you have to do is put in the ISBN and the information comes up. Whereas opposed to having these very niche books on eBay is not something you would likely to find. Though we did find some examples of those books to give an idea of what kind of price to put in. They're like new. Since we worked for the publisher, we got them as complimentary copies when we worked there, and they asked that we not sell them, but I think when we worked there, they wanted you to understand it was a complimentary copy, and it was kind of an honor of the work that was done to produce it. But we've been gone from that work for 20 years now, so I think we're past that time. Nobody out tonight? Nobody out enjoying this kind of eerie but interesting fog with street lights. Hey, is anybody watching the new 24 iteration? So they have Jack Bauer is no longer part of 24, so no more Kiefer Sutherland. So they have a new actor And I watched the premiere last night while the next episode was playing. So I'd gone for a walk last night. My wife said, "Hurry, quick, watch the first episode so you can watch the second one with me." But a half an hour for an hour show, even at without commercials, which you still, like if you watch a show like that on an app, like the ABC or NBC app, whatever it was on, or Fox, I guess last night was Fox, then they still show you commercials. Though I did opt out for Interacting with Logan. That's the new Wolverine movie that's coming out. Again, another actor taking the place of Hugh Jackman for that franchise. And the interaction was, are you likely to see this movie? And you just had to sit there for 30 seconds. And then after that, you really didn't have any more commercials during the broadcast of that episode. So I watched that while my wife watched the second episode. And then I watched the first episode of the first season of Stranger Things. I think I had seen this before. I don't know if I really watched anything after the first episode. So we have a Netflix subscription that our oldest son obtained for us for Christmas. So anyway, I don't usually watch too much video. Besides, I did watch the Super Bowl till the end. Unlike our friend Jim. And Jim, part of me didn't want to watch it either. But I did. I was disappointed in the end. I did want to see Atlanta win their first Super Bowl, but it was not to be. So the good Atlanta showed up for the first and half and part of the third quarter, and then something happened, and they went away. Or they traded jerseys or something. Let's see. I'd like to watch Jeopardy. Yeah, there's a smattering things we like to watch, but we really don't spend a lot of time with the television. Or at least, not regularly. My wife does enjoy things like HGTV, Fixer Upper, Property Brothers, some shows like that. But she often is using that as a backdrop. So she is the kind of person who cannot keep from being busy. So it's rare that she is merely watching a television program. She's usually watching a television program while clipping coupons or throwing out old coupons or folding laundry or any number of things, writing thank you notes or writing letters to friends. On the other hand, I can just sit and watch. But sometimes I am productive. Not like her, though. I wore short sleeves today. And my wife made a comment. She said, "That shirt looks funny on you. It looks too short." That's true. I'm long-bodied, so the shirt is a little short, but I don't tuck it in usually, so. And she said, "Well, you've gotten skinnier, so it looks bigger but shorter. Maybe it's just because you've changed." Because I was thinking, well, I wore this a lot last summer. And Norman was saying about what his weight has been after eating vegan for a month. Norman, if you really want to lose weight without much effort, and it's not easy, is don't eat carbs, no sugar, no grains. But then you need to replace that with something else to fill you up, at least make you feel full. So, eggs, butter, well, let's see, if you're eating vegan, I guess you're not having, depends on the vegan. Some vegans will be yeah, they'll eat milk and cheese, dairy products, and eggs. Some won't eat anything, depending on the nature of the reasons. So, if you think it's just better for your health, not that you're getting any vitamin B12, but if you're doing it for health reasons, maybe, as he said, a cleanse of sorts, then maybe you will have some things like eggs or butter or some cheese. Don't go hog wild on cheese. Yeah, it's avoiding the carbs. Carbs are what adds the pounds, because you eat carbs and your body says, ooh, sugar. And insulin is produced, and insulin says, hey, store that for later. And that's what fat is. Stored energy for later. Just listened to a very interesting, I don't know if it was an interview or podcast. It was about a paper that Phil Maffetone and somebody else wrote, calling the overfat epidemic, saying that 76% of the world is overfat. Something like 13% is normal, and then there is a portion of underfat. And they intentionally use that language, trying to acknowledge the role that fat has to play. They said, really, fat should be considered an organ because it does things for us, much like other organs do. However, we've gotten to be over fat. And an overfat person could be not a heavy person. So it could be somebody who has too much fat in the around the organs. So that's probably what I was dealing with. Here I was, not skinny. I'd probably be considered slender, pretty slender now. But I weighed 185, about 6'2". So it wasn't really large. Anyway, it's an interesting listen. So if you go to the philmaffetone.com, there's a podcast interview about it. Very interesting. That website has lots of interesting information. So a lot of the book, the big book of health and fitness, a lot of the articles on that website are verbatim pages out of the book. Or rather, it's probably the book are verbatim pages taken from articles written. And my weight right now is 168-ish. And it seems to have parked there. I've heard people say that as, I think Tim Noakes will say something like, your body knows what weight it wants to be. So, and it will probably settle somewhere where you will eat to be satisfied to a certain weight. And so you'll never really grow too skinny if you're eating right. course, I can always think there are probably exceptions. There is always an exception. Well, while I'm out walking, the foot feels pretty good. I can feel twinges of things as I have been, but there's no pain while I'm out. But when I get home, since my foot is nice and warmed up, and we'll do some stretching because the legs are, everything is loosened up, warmed up, and do some foam rolling on for me it's the shins, especially my right shin, which is, I don't know if the arthritis is causing swelling that has a pulling effect that makes that area a little more tender. So I've been trying to roll that out recently to see if there's any relief. Let's see, a couple of interesting things coming up. This Friday night, the Tim Tebow Foundation puts on something called A Night to Shine. And there is a local church that is hosting this, and it is a prom for special needs people, usually teenagers and older. Some of them can be quite older. And it is a night to allow them to be front and center, to be treated like they are $1 million. Because that would be a good way to put it. Treat them very special. Give them a red carpet treatment. Have paparazzi there taking their pictures, getting them on the dance floor, interacting with others. And so I am going to be shining shoes. So that is my volunteer position. I will kneel in front of all of these good folks and make their shoes shine. Or at least try. I have a nice shoe shine kit I inherited from my father. It's like an old wooden block. So I've got the goods. Now we're supposed to dress up too. So I'll be dressed in a suit and doing some shoe shining. Then, let's see, that's the 10th. That's Friday night. I'm trying to think. It seems like there's something on Saturday we're doing. And then on Valentine's Day, Anna is at a choir concert tonight. And they needed some volunteers tonight. We didn't opt for that, but we did opt for Valentine's Day. There is a choir competition. Those are fun to hear the other area high schools singing pieces they've really worked hard on. Quakertown High School, I think they are doing a different version of This Little Light of Mine. So not the familiar tune, This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. So it's something else. And then they're also doing selections from Porgy and Bess, so that it will make up their repertoire for that night. So Margie and I, for our date night on that night, we are going to welcome people to the affair. Hand out bulletins and that kind of thing. So other options were being a chaperone for the different schools. I think it just means to kind of help be an adult presence when the kids are waiting to come out and do their singing. So didn't really feel like handing out cookies and cleaning up afterwards. I'm dressed in dark. Jim, you would not like it, but I'm trying to walk smartly. So, as I hear any vehicles approaching, I scamper up to the sidewalk. Otherwise, I don't really like being on the sidewalk. For two reasons. One is, there's that constant slant toward the street to get the water to slide off. And then, this particular neighborhood, if you're walking in the dark down these sidewalks, you will get poked in the head, in the eye, something by trees that could use a little trimming away from the sidewalk. And then next weekend, we are heading out to Houghton College out in western New York. First, we will be traveling to, I don't know if it's Attica or Batavia. My wife has a college friend that she's kept in touch with who lives there. It's about an hour north of Houghton College. So it's about a 6-hour drive. And then we'll drive down, we'll drive out Thursday afternoon. Then we'll drive down Friday morning to Houghton College for their honors weekend. And it has a discussion group. They've been reading in St. Augustine's The City of God. And they'll be discussing some aspects of the book. And I'm not sure what else. So anyway, that's our weekend. We'll be traveling Thursday, returning Sunday evening. Now, one thing that might not happen is, this didn't go over so well when we were in Gordon College up in Massachusetts, and that is, Anna was to have stayed in one of the dorm rooms overnight, and somehow she was overlooked. And so there were other girls who were also overlooked, and they were all going to room in one dorm. So they're going to have 4 girls sleeping on the floor. And she got to the room and she said just wasn't kept very well. It was dirty. And she said, please, can I not stay the night? And we said, sure. She is a homebody, a little concerning. She knows that when she goes to college, she'll be living in a dorm, but it'll be just with one roommate. And they do a good job pairing kids up. So, yeah, so we're not sure. She's really not wanting to stay in a dorm when we're visiting Houghton College either. And it's not something worth pressing. I think the boys would have... Well, I know. Let's see. I'm trying to remember if Wayne did that when we visited some colleges. Not my recollection, but Mitchell did. And he just accepted it as something he was supposed to do. So we're just trying to get Anna through high school. She has enough stress right now, so not trying to press things. I want her to enjoy and look forward to things. And she loves her sleep. So for her to go someplace and then feel like she's going to be up till 2 o'clock in the morning and then have to be somewhere at 7 does not appeal to her. So, again, reasons not to push. All right, well, I've talked a lot longer than I thought I would tonight, and usually don't have much spinning in my head to spin out of my mouth. Another thing Norman said the other day that I can identify with. Sometimes you don't really know what to say. I've gone out and tried to record something and then just nothing is really coming and you feel like you're forcing it. That's no fun. So you just scrap the whole thing and wait till another time. Oh, let's see. Cindy Field asked me a question. I'm trying to remember on Facebook. I think I answered it. Better check that. I know my wife saw it. She says, Were you out today? No, that's from a couple days ago. Okay. So, we've been rain-free. I was really hoping to, or I was halfway hoping to take a walk today at lunch. But again, it wasn't as warm as I thought it was going to be, so I wouldn't have liked that. And then it was much wetter than I was expecting it to be. Wouldn't have liked that. Getting back to the office and then being cold. All right, well, I've probably got another quarter to half a mile to go. I think I've exhausted my topics in my head. So now you know what's going on for the next little while. Appreciate your listening and appreciate your podcasts. I think Norman mentioned something else yesterday. I wasn't sure if it was another person's podcast on Spreaker or another person running with Carlos before he left for London. So, I think he posted that on Facebook also. I have to scroll down through his page a little bit, see if I can find it. By the way, I thought that was an interesting thing. I tried to post on Facebook. Somebody asked about how long to wear shoes. And yeah, the conventional wisdom is, 300 to 400 miles usually. Or if you're feeling something in your knees, to change them out. Other things I've heard are wear several pairs of shoes. Cycle through about 3 pairs of shoes. They are never going to be exactly the same. And gives your foot a little change up so it doesn't get in a rut, so to speak. Then I tried to post a video. I'd seen this article about this 85-year-old marathon runner who was breaking records in his age group. And I think somewhere in there he said he'd been running in the same pair of shoes for 20 years. Now, same manufacturer. I can't imagine a pair of shoes lasting for 20 years. Unless, they don't make them like they used to. And so they lasted that long? I don't know. But I've heard Mark Cucuzella say, if you take out try to get as low a profile as you can, take out the extra cushioning, try to feel the ground underneath your feet. So that was where the link that I had. Then I tried to click on it. It didn't go anywhere. So I had to find the YouTube video and I updated that link today. Not that anybody will notice, but anyway, at least it's a working clickable link. All right, well, we will give the talking a break. let you get it back to what you're doing. So, this is Steve, Quakertown, PA, February 7th, walking through the fog. Looking forward to some snow, and starting in about 24 to 36 hours. So we will talk to you later. Thanks for listening.